I'm joined now by MP for Rutland and Melton, Alicia Kearns. Morning to you, Alicia.
Morning, Jimmy.
What do you know then? What do you know of this situation? What's the latest?
So the situation is that essentially, just like Mike said, around half of all cases of COVID-19 in Rutland currently, I believe, are in the prison. And so absolutely there are media headlines that are rightly concerning all of us locally. And I think, the outbreak at HMP Stocken does worry all of us. And my thoughts are particularly with staff who've worked so hard during the pandemic. And I think it's really important to point out that in the last 11 months during 2020, HMP Stocken worked so hard they didn't have a single case of COVID amongst a single prisoner. And I think they're pretty much the only prison in the country that had achieved that. So essentially right now the priority is obviously making sure that we get that outbreak under control. And if it's helpful, I can talk through the measures that the prison's put in place if that will reassure everyone with what's going on.
Well, I think people would like to hear it. I'm sure if you live in that area, you might be a bit worried if you're in the community.
No, and I live in Rutland. I'm here looking at the snow out the window, and looking out the window, you wouldn't expect that there's an outbreak going on. But essentially, so the prison has essentially put in place 8 measures working with the Ministry of Justice, Department of Health, local public health officials. So first of all transfers have been paused in and out of the prison. Secondly, they are rolling out even greater testing of prison staff, so they'll now get tested around 3 times a week. And then in terms of isolating prisoners, first of all, they're isolating anyone who tests positive. They're separately isolating anyone who's symptomatic but hasn't tested positive. They've shielded all prisoners who are vulnerable. There is an incredibly strict regime in place, and they've given enhanced PPE for staff. In addition, as was already planned, vaccinations have also started within the prison. They started on the 3rd of February. So there's a lot of work going on. I spoke to the Lord Chancellor a couple of weeks ago. I spoke to Prison Minister yesterday. I spoke to Prison Minister a few weeks ago. The key thing is that, yes, of course, we're all worried. Yes, absolutely, the whole of Rutland is behind HMP Stocken in wanting them to be able to end this outbreak. But I have absolutely confidence that our governor will do exactly that, especially with the support that he's getting.
Alicia, thank you very much for updating us on that situation. We did hear a little bit of a baby sound there, so you're multitasking talking to us this morning, aren't you? How is your little one?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Yeah, she's 3 weeks old, so unfortunately putting her to one side doesn't necessarily work.
No, I'm just grateful for you coming on. Generally everything's all right there? Everything going well?
Everything's going well, very well. There's no such thing as maternity leave when you're an MP, so there's lots to be done. But we're very lucky. She's a very happy baby, so thank you.
Alicia, thank you for joining us this morning.